Hey up folks, are you all excited for Christmas and Christmas special? This is not the Christmas special. Christmas special is going to be next video. I'm going to do a bit of shunting on this one because owner's been in touch with a boatload of demands and requests, so we're going to have to get some stuff done. He's basically started messaging me today out at Blue. He's took his new car for a spin. He's got rid of his other one now, and he's got his Senna Ferrari, I think. So it's obviously doing well for him. So yeah, he's took it away to Florida for the weekend. So yeah, that wouldn't have been cheap, would it, flying that out there? But I suppose when you've got the dosh, you've got the dosh. So anyway, we've got to clear all trains out at yard because we've got a big Christmas special coming and we don't know what's going on. We don't know if it's going to be snowing or what. So we're going to start off this video just moving these trains out and clearing a bit of space. We've got a train to prepare, so we've got a bit of shunting to do. It's going to be a bit of a long haul on this because it's going to take some time getting these trains out. So we'll get them out, and then in the meantime, what I thought I'd do, I'm going to talk about point motors and general points and nonsense in a kind of semi-serious video for once, because I've done a semi-serious one for a while. So yeah, I thought we'd do that. And it's kind of just a bit of a discussion for like people like me who are not like super experts but are quite new at it and just want to talk about it and whatnot and have a bit of fun and look at some videos at the same time while listening to me waffling on nonsense. So as most of you might know, especially if you've been in for long haul and you've seen a few of my videos, you'll know that I've got two different sorts of point motors on this. I used to have all SEEP point motors, and now I've got some Cobalt digitals. I've probably got about 14 or 15 Cobalt digitals, but they cost an arm and a leg, don't they? So I originally were going to change them all, and then I kind of held off on it. And just to explain, there were a few reasons. One is cost. They're basically £300 for a box of 12, and even if you get them cheap on discounts, you're basically paying at least 250. So they're not cheap. So that's number one, and I needed about another 500, 600 quid's worth of something stupid. So that's one. Number two, as you know, I've got them switch panels that I've done where they've got micro switches and lights and whatnot. And I do quite like that I can just flick the points on them boards. It's dead quick. You don't really need to use much of your brain because basically, however it switches on little diagram, if you put it up, it goes up. If you put it down, it goes down. So you can't really get that wrong. Whereas these digital points on my iPad screen, if I'm across room and I realise at last minute I end up pointing, I've got to walk across room, albeit, yeah, it's 2 metres, but I can't reach it. You get the point, you press it, and what I find sometimes, because I've got sausages for fingers, I'll press to change a point and it'll change the wrong one because my fingers are too close and I've got too many points on one little screen. So sometimes I'll do wrong one. Two, they're not as quick. And it's just all a little bit, I just find it a little bit, it's good. It's kind of just as bad as it is good, I'd say. And I think, to an extent, it takes a bit of fun out of it as well. Do you know, a little bit of basic fun? Because these model railways and that, they're a toy, aren't they? And they're meant to be fun. And I think, when I saw them digital ones, I thought, oh, that looks absolutely amazing. So I got all into that, took photos at layout, got it so that I've got photos of my points, and you press the button and it all changes and it's all nice. But I don't know now if it's way forward, because it does take the fun away for me, a bit more of the playing fun, and just makes it a bit more automated, and I don't really want automated. The Cobalt digitals, I would say the pros are the wiring. You only need 3 wires. You need your positive, your negative, and then you need your frog, and that's it. Everything else, it's all done for you. Whereas the SEEPs, you've then got to have your switch wires, and depending then if your switch panel's got lights on like mine have, which kind of don't work half at the time, you've got boatloads of wires. So that's one. The cost is 2. But what about not having any point motors at all? because that is what I'm thinking. My next layout, I am seriously thinking of not having point motors. I'm still going to drill holes in case I decide afterwards that was a stupid idea, I want point motors. But I think I'm going to go without point motors. And at the minute, I don't really know, because I'm not an expert with all these points. I don't really know what that means, because I've got all Electra frogs on mine at the minute, on this layout. But I think with the Electra frogs, really, they're kind of designed for point motors, aren't they, with frog wire and that. So what I think I'd do is potentially go insul frog. And I know you might be thinking, wow, that's a little bit mad, but hear me out. The only small loco I've got that would really struggle is my little shunter, and my shunter's got a stay alive in it, hasn't it? And then most of the locos I buy now, apart from Backmans, seem to have stay alives in them. So yeah, that kind of makes the insul frog not that much of a problem in my opinion. So then you don't need to have a point, and you can just flick it with your fingers. And it's just like old days when I were a kid, flick the point. I only had one point, I think it's all we could afford. So I used to flick the point with my hand, and there's no issue with that. And for me, it's such a fast process. You see point's not set, flick it with your fingers, job's done. And yeah, it wouldn't look great if I've got camera going, but half the time I ain't got camera going, and I'm just having a little bit of fun. So that's what I'm thinking. That's one thing. That's going to save a boatload of wiring. It's going to save a boatload of money, because let's face it, 299 quid for 12, that's basically a loco, isn't it? So it'll save money. The seep motors, the problem I've had with them, and the reason I've changed a few of them, is what I was finding is some of the soldering pads were just randomly falling off. And I don't know if it's because my room goes from probably at the hottest 37 degrees C, and at the coldest it probably goes down to about 4 on a very, if it's really cold for a long time, it might drop to 4. Never lower than that, but generally not lower than 6. But 6 to 37 or whatever, is that enough to cause them pads to get brittle? And I don't know if I've just oversoldered them or what, but who cares. Anyway, so they've fallen off, and that's one thing. The second thing with them, and I'm just going to pull a little picture up if I can now, and just try and show you what I'm getting at with this one. Look at this is fancy, isn't it? So this is basically how seat motor works. That little stick gets fired from one side to the other by solenoids. And there's little pads, and when it's on one side it connects to red wire, when it's on the other side it connects to black wire. It's as simple as that. But the reality I find is, if it did that entire throw, that would be fine. But it doesn't do that much throw. It does a smaller amount, like what I'm showing you here. So sometimes that stick doesn't actually go all the way off the other pad. It stays on by a little smidgen, which is what's causing my lighting problems, if that makes sense to you. Which is why when I've wired these lights up so that when it's thrown one way, one light comes on. When it's thrown other way, other light comes on. In a perfect world, if them seat motors were lined up absolutely perfectly and absolutely fitted beautifully, it probably wouldn't happen. But because I built this layout not knowing what I was doing, and I put all layout boards onto the joists on my roof, screwed them all in, and worried about point motors later, some of my point motors, although they all work perfectly, them seeps, they're probably not lined up perfectly. So what you find is it's not throwing. It's probably throwing, say, 80% more one way than other way, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm getting these lighting issues. And when I first did it, they all worked perfectly. Some of them took a bit of fettling, but they did all work. But then what I found is, over time, like bits and bobs of movement, and look how fast he's going. What's that all about? Could someone have a word with him? Because I don't know if he's a maniac. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know if that's it or what, but anyway, them lights, they're temperamental and they're not accurate, and because they don't work properly, they bug me. They bug me because it's like, what's the point having something that don't work right? And I can't be bothered fixing them, because as soon as you start moving them seat motors, because it's only screws into wood, it's just an absolute nightmare. And then wires will start falling off and everything will start going pear-shaped, so I just can't be bothered. So on this layout, I'm just going to leave it all as it is and not worry about it. So that's another reason why I'm thinking, let's not bother with point motors, because if your finger flicks a switch and it just works, doesn't it? And yeah, so the other bit I would say is these new unifrogs would be perfect if they brought them out in all shapes and sizes, but there's not many, is there? So I can't just buy these new unifrogs, because if I bought them, I'd use them as they come out at a packet, and then you can always change it afterwards, can't you? I don't know if it's a mistake. I don't know if I'm thinking about it as a bit of a mistake, so anyone who wants to chuck a bit of advice in, am I buying old technology if I buy a load of Insulfrog? Because it's not going to be a shunting layout, really. It's just going to be more scenery. I'm not really overly bothered about doing points after points after points, because I've got loads of them on this one. So I don't know what answer is. Just on a bit of a side note, these boys are taking forever getting these locos off, aren't they? I mean, we're nearly 11 minutes in now, me waffling on, and we still ain't cleared yard. And on another side note, I've not even contacted the Cura scale yet about that 66 that she's stopped working. I did try it yesterday. I put it back on track, and I thought I'll just see if it works. It doesn't even move now. It won't go forward up, does nothing. Sound still works like it's working, but no, motor's fully. It's definitely going to be motor, isn't it? I'm going to send him an email. I might do it after I've done this audio. Problem is, I'll do this audio, then my missus will come in room and we'll start watching something like that Cobra Kai. Have you been watching that Cobra Kai? Just on a side note, it's Karate Kid stuff on Netflix. Absolutely. I think it's quite decent. I say decent, it's quite nonsense, but it's like decent nonsense. So you can just watch it and you can just switch your brain off watching it whilst you've got your phone down one leg, just secretly looking if there's any bargains to buy while your missus doesn't know you're doing it. But yeah, we've got a couple of these overhead shots here now, just to see what's what, and get a bit of a view. Oh, look at that. Fully just shoved my finger in lens, and I can't redo it because this was like a couple of days ago when I did filming of this, so I've no idea what went on then. But look at this. This is tricky because I'm trying to control that 56, which is just about to crash, whilst controlling that 37. So 56 gives him a bit of a love tap. Did you notice that? It's all right, though. He don't mind it. So I think all we've got left to get off now is this last blue 37. So he's going to do a bit of a manoeuvre around this wagon, which is in his way. So he's going to go down these... going to swap sides on points and get out of there, and then we can get shunter out and do a bit of shunting, which I don't do a lot of shunting, and I've had a few requests for it, so I thought I'll do it on this one. So just while we're being all super serious and everyone's thinking what's going on, is this channel broken, I'm going to ask a couple of serious questions. Has anyone had any Electrofrog Pico points and just run them straight out of the packet without modifying them? Because I modified all mine on this. Has anyone done it without modifying them? And is it alright doing that? Because I don't think I can be bothered. I'm not going to lie, I don't think I can be bothered next time, because I think there's a lot of nonsense with these point motors that I don't really need in my life on the next layout. So if you have, let me know. Second question, anyone run Insulfrog? Have I been saying Insulfrog? Or I don't even know if I've been saying Insulfrog. I meant to say Insulfrog anyway. Has anyone been running Insulfrog and had any major issues that you'd think absolute red flag, don't use them? Because I don't think there is, that's all. So I think that's where I'm going. And then third question, I'm seriously thinking of going code 100 again. I know everyone's like, oh, hardcore Superboys run code 75, but I don't know, I'm just thinking, I'm used to code 100, I'm no big expert, and I just don't want any grief. I want it to be quite plain sailing once I do start laying track, because I'm telling you now, what I'm thinking about doing is getting a couple of baseboards built and starting to build the layout before the shed's even built, because I've got some area that I can use down in my man cave where I can start building stuff and even doing it and running trains on it. And then it takes a bit of pressure off clearing all them conifers, because every time I look at them conifers, it makes me want to just cancel the idea altogether. So I thought I could just start by doing that. All I need to do is borrow my mate's van and nip to B&Q, and then we absolutely swimming at that point. Hey, just in other news, I got some of these Vallejo Model Air weathering colour paints the other day, so I'm ready to start rocking with some weathering again once it gets a bit warmer. It's a bit fresh in it to be going out in garage weathering. But yeah, that's they look alright. Some of the colours are a bit crazy to say they're meant to be weathering colours, but I'll certainly be able to use plenty of them. And I've never used Vallejo's at Model Air, so it'd be good to not be doing my lungs damage while I'm spraying compared to old stuff I was using, because that rail match with enamel thinners is a bit naughty, isn't it? Especially when you're not putting breathing apparatus on. But I've got to say, on the other side note, when I do that, at least it makes my videos more interesting because I'm off my pickle, aren't I, half the time. I'll tell you what as well, just in other news, did you watch that TMC special with a few YouTubers on, Jenny Kirk and Iron Horse and that? It was quite good, wasn't it? I right enjoyed it. So, funnily enough, there is a bit of a twist coming at Liberty Junction with some YouTubers getting involved with some stuff it's a bit of a top secret, been keeping it safe. But yeah, I'll introduce that at some point if I can in the next few episodes and see what you think. So I did up to 15 minutes last night that commentary, and now we're on to a new day, and basically I've slept on it. I've took my young one to school, and when I was walking back, when light bulb comes over your head and it lights up and does that ping sound, well, that's what happened when I was walking home. And I thought, I'll tell you what I can do. We're on about this code 100, code 75. So that what I thought I'm going to do is I'm going to start building that, that upper section with that big train station I'm on about. I can fit just shy of a 6 metre by 2 foot. Oh, why have I done it in two different measurements? Yeah, we'll do that. It's more confusing. 6 metres by 2 foot section in my little man cave, where it's not really going to cause me any issues. So I thought I could build that section that's going to be lifted up, and then at some point when I've done the shed, I can get it in there. But what I thought is I can do that entire section code 75. See how I get on with it as a bit of a experiment, and then what I'll do is if it's any good, then I can do it all in that, and if it's garbage, then I can get one of them transition things and drop it to code 100 as it goes back down round walls. I quite like that idea, and I think I'm going to go with it. At that point, then I can even go with some of them fancy concrete points that they've brought out, because I quite like the look at them. I wouldn't mind doing a bit of a concrete section. So yeah, that's where I think I'm at with that. What do you think to that as an idea? And would anyone be bothered about? I mean, I know there's a million videos in there showing you how to build stuff, and I'm no expert, but would anyone be bothered about me doing a few bits and bobs, just showing bits of progress and that as it goes along from basics to covered with scenery and nonsense? If you would, let me know. If you wouldn't, if you say definitely no, that's fine as well, because it's one of them, isn't it? But we'll see. So yeah. Anyway, look, Shunter's out, and he's just, we're getting this train ready, this EWS train. There's some big job on up in Scotland where they've got to run this train up. So it's a good job. They wanted some lengths of tree trunk, and they also wanted some builder's bags with some stuff and some straw-like tubing. So luckily we had all that ready, so we're going to get this, and we're going to bring they wanted some ballast as well. So we've got some ballast and all in some wagons, so we're going to get that and we're going to send it up to Scotland. I think it might be going to Hilton at Proper Chuffed on his Scottish Railway, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's all right. Talking of Hilton up in Scotland on his South African Scottish Railway, has anyone seen Ladderman up there yet? Because it was kind of a thing, wasn't it, where I gifted Ladderman it to him so he can steal some stuff and send it back to me, and I have not seen him since. I'm not sure if he's not been kidnapped by South African terrorists, so I don't really know. And once I started thinking like that, I thought, well, what if they got Hilton as well, and they've put like a replica in his place doing these videos, and that's why there's been no mention of it. So yeah, that's unusual. So let us know if you're all right, Hilton, and let Ladderman say hello one day. Also, Hilton, if you're watching and listening, I sent that train over to you, and I used some quite unique packaging. So you'll have to let me know if it arrives and if that packaging's acceptable packaging to use. And then we can use it in future packaging, maybe. I also, before I forget to tell you, I don't know if you know, but Liberty Junction Christmas Market's back on this year. It's already started. It started on 1st, so everyone's welcome to that. Basically, if you just get off at platform 1 or 2, it's in underground section where benches are. I've got all sorts there, mulled wines and all sorts. So if you want to come along, I'll give you some a rough idea at pricing. We've got burgers, they're £22, cheeseburgers £27, mulled wines £14 for a little glass. It's really nice, and all money goes to Liberty Charities, where we basically buy things for people we like who are deserving of them. Just basically, a bit of a spoiler alert, it was myself and Ladderman that came up with the whole idea of it, so gives both a pat on the back for that. It's really good. So we've got our eye on a couple of things we want to buy. In the meantime, we've got 2 different Santa sleighs. You can have your kids with them. We can do photos of your kids, only £20 for a photo. If you want to be on photo with your kids, £30, grandparents £50. And then it's all right. We'll get that done. We print it off. We've got printers and everything. And if you want multiple copies, we can sort that out. We do. I think it's 12% discount for if you want some extra copies. So that's all right. So you can get like 3 or 4 prints off for all your family. It's under £200, so it's a bargain, really. I know what you're thinking as well. You're thinking, well, I can't really make it to Christmas market. It's a bit late notice, and I'm already busy. I want to help out though. Well, you can still help out, because what we've got the charitable donation fund. So if you've got any old watches, like Rolex watches, any like precious stones like rubies, sapphires, emeralds, diamonds, anything like that, just old jewellery, 14, 24 karat gold, things like that, you can send them in and we can convert them into funds towards the charity. We take anything really, classic cars of significant value. We take designer handbags. That's a good one, because a lot of people have got them. Even if it's your wife's and she's got a lot of them, just take a couple of them that she's not going to notice. Send them in. We can get them sent to charity. All sorts of stuff. If you've got an ex-wife and you want to get rid of her wedding ring, send that. As long as it's significant value, it can all be converted, can't it, for the Liberty Christmas charity. There's just so many good causes that we really want to push for, two in particular. So, we can treat it like Band-Aid. It can be like Band-Aid 2024 for Liberty Junction. I think that is actually what we're calling it. It is Band-Aid 2024. So if any famous singers want to get involved as well, you can get involved. Basically, everyone. We just need to generate some wealth, because that's about all we need to say on it, isn't it? Just on a side note, it were going well, wasn't it? All serious, and then my brain slipped into silly mode, and I've kind of ruined seriousness at video now, haven't I? Oh, what an idiot. I don't know why I do it. I can't help myself. I suppose just it is what it is. So, so the plan going forward then, the imminent plan, is I'm going to start that station layout section, which will be a bit of a layout in itself. It may or may not ever make it into a shed that I may or may not ever build, but I probably will, because I'm planning on doing it still. And I'm going to use, unless someone steps in and persuades me otherwise, I'm going to use code 75 on it just to see what differences are. And it should be all right. I'm looking forward to it, because I just need to build something. I've got not really. The problem with Liberty Junction 1 in this little tiny loft, 'cause it is a tiny loft, it's not a big loft at all, it's such a small one, is you just can't get round to do stuff. And if I had a massive loft, I wouldn't ever consider doing it anywhere other, because I think they're ideal places. Because my missus never wants to go up there, because what's the point? It's full of spiders and nastiness, aren't they? They're not particularly warm in winter. They're not particularly hot. They're crazy hot in summer, crazy cold in winter. So it's just a place where it's like a perfect man area because no one else wants it. So I just wish I had a bigger loft, but I haven't. So I kind of went on a bit of a tangent then, didn't I, dreaming about big lofts. So that's my plan. I'm going to get to B&Q, get some baseboards at some point. I need to speak to my mate, see when I can borrow his van, and then I can get cracking on. I think I'm going to get my missus to get me some track, because I reckon it's going to need about 200 quid. I reckon all in. For points and track, 200 quid. And I think on this next layout, I'm even going to have to put some signals on it, which that's going to blow my mind because I ain't got a Scooby about them. So might need a bit of pointers with signalling, but I don't know. We'll see. I tell you what, though, we've got to take his hats off to this shunter driver. He's done a sterling job while I've been waffling on. He's almost built his train now, look. He's done it all while we've been talking. He's just got on with it. And that's ready for a big job up to Scotland, so that's nice. I'm happy with him for that. So he's going to get his sent off now. I think he's done for that day as well. He's into his Christmas break now, this lad. I think he's got 4 days off coming up, so he'll enjoy that. I've given everyone 4 days off. I know a lot of places have 2 weeks shut down, but come on, folks. I've got to get some money earned, haven't I? I mean, this quarry's not really doing all that, is it? They've not really cleared much of that big rock in the last few months, to be fair, so I'll have to look into that. But everything's good, we're all happy. It's Christmas festivities, everyone's eating mince pies. I'm not getting any slimmer because of mince pies, and that's that. So just going back to my new station area, I've actually bought some little bits and bobs of Scenecraft items off eBay the other week. I know I basically briefly mentioned it, but I bought a few buildings, and they're quite traditional looking, so it's going to have all this fancy new concrete sleepers, but it is going to be like an older type of place. So I don't even know what I was thinking, but I kind of fell in love with it, and then I bought it. There were a little bit of sneaky photography because some of the bits were a bit more damaged than I expected. But it were alright, it weren't bad money, so I'll try and fix it. And if I can't fix it, I'll try and modify it to look alright. And if I can't do that, then it'll get moved on, and I'll start again with another idea. I mean, he's gone away, but I mean, them two lads there could just do it. You just drop them off a couple of packs of mince pies, mate, before you get out at Loco. Because I know you've got a load of mince pies warming on fire, haven't you? He's got his own little Bunsen burnery type stove set up in there. It's quite good. He does mince pies and coffees and all sorts, mulled wine. In fact, I hope he's not been drinking mulled wine while he's been driving that thing, because it's a bit dangerous, that. Yeah, just drop them off, mate, and then we're done for that day, and you can get your sent off. Nice one. Right, folks, I think we're about done. I'm going to go and start researching this Code 75 track now, because I ain't got a clue about that, and I'll see what points we've got. I think I'm going to need 6 points for that layout, and then probably about 10 lengths of flexi track, but I'll see what I can do. And that should do them boards, and we'll see. I tell you what, though, if I do it 2 foot deep, it's going to be quite a thick shelf that covering what's below it, so I might have to go higher as well on gradient to get it out of the way. So I might have to go back to any rail and have a look at that and see if I can slim it down. I don't even know now. I've just blown my own mind. Cheers, folks. Hey, look at this little stocking filler I've left you. It's a bit of an outtake. Sometimes I place locos just near track, forgetting that they're not on track, and then try running them. And as you can see, this is not even on rails at all. I don't even know how it's moving, but it's clattering about like a madman, look. He nearly killed someone. In fact, we're going to have to self-refer to Health and Safety Executive about this. See you, folks.